Hi everyone, this is the first episode of our AI and IP special, where we are going to be tackling the topic of artificial intelligence and its effect on IP from different perspectives. In today's episode, the first episode of this special, we are going to learn about some groundbreaking work in the world of generative AI with co founder and CEO of Bria AI, Yair Adato. We will be discussing with Jair how Bria is setting new standards in AI development, as well as the importance of finding the right investors and the challenges and rewards of building a business centered around accountability. So stay tuned and don't miss it.
Hello, this is IP Stories by 4IP Council, a podcast about innovation and intellectual property. Join us and you'll hear about the journeys through invention, creation, and IP understanding of our guests.
I'm Marta.
And I'm Fernanda, and today we're happy to welcome to our podcast Yair Adato, co founder and CEO at Bria.
Jair, thank you so much for coming to our podcast. Before talking about your company, we would like to know more about you and your background. What led you to where you are today?
So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm kind of a geek. I knew that I'm going to have a PhD in math since I was 6 years old, which is kind of funny. But I said back then that I'm going to have a PhD in computer science or math. Um, Actually, there was no computer back then; it's only math. And then I really, really like also to creative. I like to paint. I like to take picture. So the combination between these two elements, computer science and math and creativity, led me to do a PhD in computer science and computer vision. And from computer vision to Bria, it's really, really a short path. Bria enable to create the visual that you need, which in a way this is the ultimate goal of a computer vision.
Could you explain to our listeners what's different about Bria AI in comparison with other AI generated image platforms?
Yeah, so we took a completely different approach. We believe that in order to see the real value of this technology, you need to have three different elements. The first one, it must be responsible. It must respect copyright and privacy and trademarks, and no deep fake, no celebrities. And we solve this problem from the root. I think that we should spend a few minutes of how we solve this very hard problem of copyright and privacy. So this is a very, very different approach. I think that we're unique in that approach. The second one is that we believe that it must be open. So Bria is a source code available. We are not a photo editor tool. We give this technology as a source code or API to other companies to build it on top of it. Other companies can be advertising like a Publicis or WPP or game manufacturer like Unity or whatever. They build their product using our technology. And the last one is we believe that the real value is not in the text to image, but in the customized controlled generation. So media companies can create exactly what they need with identity preservation, with the product shot if it's e-commerce. So we are not mid journey in so many level. Um, I would add that we are now, by the end of this year, we will be a multi-modality company. So we'll also generate legal, responsible audio, sound, video, and other elements which has rights.
Okay, I have so many questions now.
Mhm.
So, I would like to start with something that you have mentioned about your approach to copyright and the ethical aspect of your company and your technology. So, this is something that I actually saw on your website, and I was very intrigued by the ethical, legality compliant AI. That was sort of like the sentence. And I would like to know what this means to you and why is it necessary?
Yeah. It's necessary because first I believe that this is the right thing to do. I have twin girls, 15 years old. I hate TikTok. I think that in so many cases you choose, you develop something without really taking the accountability on that. And I don't want to be in this position. I don't want to be in a position that 10 years from today someone says that they use Bria to impact election in some place. I don't want to be this guy. And there is a question of what does it mean, ethical or responsible AI. But at the end, it's all boiled to taking accountability of the technology and product and business that you build. And I want to take accountability. I want to feel comfortable of what I do. Putting that aside, the only way that enterprise will use this technology if it will be safe to use. If there's not be a lawsuit, if there not be a PR. An amazing example for that is Scarlett Johansson a few weeks back, which she said that OpenAI stole her voice or steal her voice. Um, think of an enterprise doing a big launch of something, and then a week after, he had this bad PR of Scarlett Johansson. You steal my voice. You don't want to be there. So what we try to do is to create a platform which remove all of this risk of copyright, privacy, trademarks. And actually, we did something that you're familiar with. We copy Spotify. Why do I mean by we copy Spotify? Look, it's happened. Everything already happened in the past. Music streaming 20 years ago started with Pirate Bay and Napster, where they scrap the internet and give it for free, and you can get a membership in this application. But musician, they cannot last, right? People will not create music, and we're thinking that it's the same. So we create an attribution engine. Every time that someone generate an image and soon a song or something else, we know to trace back in the training set which data impact this specific generation, and we pay attribution for this data owner. So we create a sustainable economy where creators can get some revenue out of their content. Does it make sense? It was a long, long answer, but does it make sense?
Yes, completely. And actually, I really love the fact that instead of, sort of like fighting technology or sort of like going against it because all these things are happening, like with Scarlett Johansson, you have gone like, well, this can be done, but in the right way. And I really love what you mentioned about taking accountability. I really wish more companies felt that way. So, yeah, congratulations on the idea because I think it's great business wise, but also it's true that it makes sure that this is a sustainable business and that we get creators to continue creating, which is obviously what we all want. So, yeah.
When you think about creators, there's all kind and level of creators, and if you create this type of platform that you can reward the creators according to their impact, some creator can use that in order to generate more, because now there is a full transparent way of how money flows, and now you help creator to remove the limitation of how much time they have. So now if you're a good creator, and the platform can learn from your data, from your style, and you can get the recognition on that and the revenue on that, now you can create more. And I think that we will see more and more examples of that in the near future.
Yes, exactly. It's like an additional source of income actually. Like it can be quite profitable for authors and creators as well, of
Mhm.
course.
So, your licensed datasets model guarantee that there is no copyright infringement, amongst other things. Also, I believe your technology is patented. And I wondered, how much did you know about IP before working on Bria?
It's a great question. I definitely know more about AP that I ever thought that I will know about AP. Not a lot. I know that there is a different type of source code. I know that the IP is important. I appreciate the creation and the IP of other companies. I had some experience from academia, because when you write a paper in academia, you give the IP away, which is, when you think about it, it's crazy. Not even to university, you give the IP to the publisher. It's why. But I didn't know a lot. I think that I learned during the last 4 or 5 years what does it mean, and I'm still learning. For example, in music, it's much more complicated than visual. But this is what in terms, this is what you do as a founder. You find a topic. There is a problem that you need to solve. It's a multidimensional problem. It's not only tech. It's not only IP. It's not only legal. There is also element of psychologist in that. Everything, and you learn what you need to know.
Yeah, I completely agree. And if it makes you feel any better, from all the interviews that we have done to entrepreneurs, most of them, if not all, I think they had to learn about intellectual property the hard way, when they basically were like, "Okay, I think I need this." So yeah, actually, one of the things that we sort of like advocate about is to give more information about IP and how it's needed in businesses before they get to that phase. But yeah, at the end of the road, you all become experts. So that's great. And now that we are talking about IP, and we are always very curious about trademarks, and the name Bria, I think it's really great. It's easy to pronounce in any language. It's short. It's, I think, memorable, and I would like to know where it comes from.
So Bria is actually uh, Hebrew word Bria, which means generation, basically. So it's easy. And last week, someone told me. So my last name is Adato, and it's appear in one place in the Bible, the word. And someone told me last week that the only place that the word Bria is in the Bible like this form, is at the same chapter with the word Adato.
Whoa, what a coincidence!
But Bria is the Hebrew name of a generation, and when you choose a name for your company, you need to make sure that there is a good story around it, and that people know how to spell it. And I think that in the second criteria, we are not the best. People are misspelling that, but it's a good story.
I think it's a great story. And we all know, and this is something that we talk a lot in the podcast, that finding investment is always a big concern for startups. Um, how did you finance your IP?
I think that you learn a lot of things as you start a startup. You learn a lot about IP, and you learn a lot about other stuff. One of the things that you learn is about investors, and investors, like any other thing, is a product, and you need to choose the right product for you. So if you want to create a business which will be a profitable business and will generate cash immediately, this is one type of investors. If you try to solve big problem with a big potential, but also with a big chance that you will fail, it's a completely different type of investors. And you need to make sure that you find the investor that has the same goal and vision like your startup. And luckily we did invest. We find an investor called Trey Capital, the guy called Ran, and he's a big believer. We met 5 years ago, and when everyone else said, "What do you mean generative AI? What do you mean that I can write a text and I will get an image? And why do I need it?" This is what people told me 5 years ago. That was like, you know, before ChatGPT and before DALI. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. When I
Yeah.
met him, he said, Of course, this is how the future is going to look like, and the only way that I will invest is if we agree now that it must be legal, because otherwise an enterprise will not use that. And that was early 2020. So you need to find the investors that has the same vision and goals like you have.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And it must be difficult having that sort of like match between what you want to create and finding the right investor. Probably you had to talk with a lot of people. And also, not only understanding your technology, but also agreeing with you in terms of the ethical aspect of it. I don't know if you encountered any situations where you had to sort of like explain this side of the company and why it was important.
Yeah. So it's not only it's a business. We also and Trev also think that they are after the ROI of their investment, but they believe that the only way to get an ROI for generative AI platform is if it will be responsibly legal. So this is the
Yeah.
line that you need to have. This is the type of discussion that you need to have with your investors, and of course, some VCs, Silicon Valley VC, yell at me that I'm damage their business, and I was like, what? I'm the small startup where seed invested is damage your business, and I don't want to say the name, but it's like top tier, top five VC in the world. No, I'm not damage your business. You did something wrong. You should acknowledge that.
Exactly. I'm not the issue here.
I'm not the issue here. On the other hand,
Hmm.
some other VC from the Valley was amazing. So in the round A, we have on top of a Trade Capital, we have Intel Capital and GFT, which is a ex Samsung and Nvidia guy, and they are amazing, amazing team. So I'm
Mhm.
really, really happy with the investor, the board that I have. A good investor is a multiple, is give you a lot of strength as a CEO of a small startup.
Mm. Yeah. And I would like to know, like, this is a bit of a difficult question, but what factors have been key to the success of your company? I can imagine that perhaps like finding the right investor is one of them, but like, what do you think has been the key for success?
Mm. Um, so I tell you what I did, what I think that I did in a good way, and what is the challenge. Do you know this theory about the Treaty of 40? Do you know that? Familiar with that?
No.
Let's see, it's like TAM, total available market, plus team, plus technology, multiple by team. So it's team, time, technology, and timing. So this is the four. So I think that the most important is the team, and we have a great team. And I truly believe this is a really, really strong, engaged, innovative team. Timing is hard. Timing is hard. We started 4.5 years ago. Even today, it's not that clear why you need all of this. So in timing, we are struggle. Um, Technology is great, and time is huge. So team is the key. Team and timing.
Yeah, but it's true that, of course, the team probably it's easier to control than the timing because, as you mentioned, like maybe people don't even understand what are you talking about if you're a little bit ahead of time, which you have to be if you want to be ready when you reach like the peak. So. So yeah, timing must be a tricky one, but yeah, I completely agree that team is so important.
And looking a little bit to the other side now, what do you think has been the biggest challenge you have to face since the founding of Bria AI?
Startup is not easy. It's a roller coaster. It's emotional roller coaster. Um, um, I think that in Gen AI it's even a little bit harder because the speed is amazing. It's changed from we don't get it to wow, this is what we need in one day. And you are and you in a way with competition with a lot of companies and with a lot of big companies and sometimes, and you need to find your voice. Once you find your voice, you need to stick to it. Um, Again, our biggest challenge is the timing. And several years ago, we said, okay, so like 2 years ago, we said, okay, so maybe we should do something else because of the timing. That was total catastrophe. It's not the DNA of the company. It's not what we want to do. It doesn't fit. And we waste almost half a year on that. So if you decided that this is what you do, this is what you need to do all the way. If you need to do a pivot, and sometimes startups needs to do pivot, there's no half a pivot. Pivot. Don't be in the middle. So what is hard? Find your own voice and have the right strategy and stick to the right strategy until you decided that you need to pivot and then fully pivot, but no midway.
And I would like to go one step further and ask you if you could look back, if there is anything you would have done differently.
I think that finding the right partners is something that probably I would do a little bit different. The right partner is not only the investors; it's also the co-founder that start the company with you, and you need to make sure that the same like in the investor, you have a full alignment of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And this is probably something that I would do differently. Um, Always start three people in a startup. Don't start one, don't start two, don't start four, three. I think that this is something that I will make sure next time that will happen. Do you know why you need to start three and not two and not four?
I'm wondering, but not really. I'm thinking about something, but I would like to hear your answer first.
So you start three because this is not an even number, and then you can have a better way to have a decision. And if someone decided that he wants to leave, which is might happen, right? People has agenda, life, other elements. If someone will leave, you are not alone. You there is two that stay. So start three, not even number, and if someone will leave, you will not remain a single founder.
Yes, because it's true that that happens often, right? That maybe one of the first founders.
It's hard. You pay prices. You pay prices for the family, for economy prices, right? The salary is not as good. If I will go to work at Google, I will get much better salary. You can imagine that. So you work hard. It's not, it's sometimes it's you start and then you see that it's not a good fit for you, and then you need to take that under. It might happen. You need to consider that also.
And also, it's just not only the salaries, like the pressure, the headaches, because it's really not not easy to have all that responsibility. Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. And sometimes you don't know until you try it. And what do you foresee in the future in the artificial intelligence landscape?
Oh, this is a very, very big question. I will try to highlight maybe two elements. The first one is probably not going to surprise you. It's going to be faster. It's going to be more accurate. It's going to be easy to consume. It's going to be more common in our day-to-day life. It will integrate it into our a lot of the tools that we are using. And I think that what we will start to see soon is that it's some of the AI capabilities will move from the cloud back to the edge devices, like mobile computers, cars, things like that, because it will open new opportunities. The cost is now a barrier to new commercial element, and once you move it to the edge, you will have more capabilities. The second element, which this one I think that might surprise you, is that it's not new. There's nothing new. It's just the math, and people are tend to have some glorification of this AI and to relate some black magic into it, but it's not the case. It's just become more powerful and more efficient, but at the end of the day, it's just computer science algorithm. And this is important to understand that because once you remove all of the black magic element of that, you understand that you need to have some kind of regulation as any other element. You need to explain how the society should work with that, and that it's as any other technology, it needs to be accessible. If we will end up with in a world that only the big companies like OpenAI and Google have access to this very advanced AI, there will be no innovation in the world. So you need to
Yeah.
accept this is a technology that needs to be used in a fair way by all players.
And do you have any advice for other entrepreneurs, especially in generative AI?
Yeah, find a real problem that it's worth solving, and you are willing to spend the next 10 years on that problem. And the reason that I'm saying it that way is because people are super excited because of generative AI, and I understand why. Well, I put my life on that 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but it, once you start a startup, you are in a process which you cannot stop. You cannot. It's a train that you cannot stop, and you need to make sure that it's a problem worth solving, and that you have the right pain for the clients, and that you have the right moat, and um, it's not a something that is a problem now, but in a year or two it will solve, then it will not be a problem anymore. Um, don't be confused because of this technology. It's not about technology, it's about the problem that you solve.
I think it's great advice. And I'm afraid we are reaching the end of the interview, but I have one more question for you, Yair. So I would like to know if there are any projects in the horizon that you would like to share with all of us and our listeners.
The closest project that we have now is to move from Tel Aviv to New York. So we have a new office in New York, and my family and I moving to New York. And obviously, it's a project with a 15 years old twin that needs to do any cat that's going to move. But if we are talking about the more professional level, what we want to do now is to duplicate the same approach we did for a still image and do that for a video and 3D and music and voice and every other type of other type of data that comes with rights, and to have a platform that you can use in a safe way to all of the modalities.
Yeah, sounds great, and also like much needed. So congratulations on your business, Jai. I think it's a really great idea, very well executed, and a real success. So congrats. And I have actually one like extra question that I would like to ask you, and it's who are you grateful for? Reaching this point.
Wow, so many people. I need to say thank you, but probably the first one is Shuli, my partner, my wife, that she has patient all of my craziness in the last 25 years, and every time is something else. The nice thing that is I keep surprising her, that I keep giving her, oh, I'm going to be, I'm going to have a restaurant. That's okay with you? And she's like, yes, of course. So probably she's the number one.
That's great. So yeah, we sent her a hug then, and thank you so much, Yair, for sharing this time and this experience with us. We have learned a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Shai.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to IP Stories by 4IP Council. Visit our website on 4ipcouncil.eu to find out more and check out the links mentioned during this episode. If you liked it, remember to share and subscribe.